in a way, right, like when I have been like never taking responsibility in North Korea because, like you said, by giving all the rights to the government, in a way they promise that you never have to be responsible for anything. Now, as a government, you're gonna take everything care of for you. So maybe that's why I think it's very appealing to people in here right now, right? They just wanna give every right they have to the government, then which means they don't have to be responsible for their behaviors.
They can be taken care of.
Yeah, because freedom is not easy. Like it was so hard. I remember when I was in South Korea, like freedom was so hard. They were saying, "So what are you gonna do with your life?" And like now, do I have to think about that? Well, in North Korea, you never had to think about what am I gonna do with my life. And then I was like, maybe I will go to school. I'm a teenager, right? Then like, what are you gonna study? Like, really, do I have to choose that? Because in North Korea, they tell you if you go to school, what school go to, what you study. There's no such a thing you choose your major in North Korea, right? Regime tell you you're gonna study art, you're gonna study chemistry, engineering, right? You're gonna study gymnastics. So now I'm like, okay, maybe I have to decide my major, but then what do you want to do as a job? Like, really? Do I have to think about that too? It was so overwhelming. Not only that, like when I go to shop, there are 100 different types of pants, right? Jeans, leggings, shorts, like mini shorts. And in North Korea, no, it was regulated. Government tell you this is the type of pants you can only wear. So I never had to think what kind of pants I want to wear. And I was thinking like, oh my God, if I get a frozen enough like potato and I have a guarantee not getting executed, I would go back to North Korea. And in fact, some North Koreans do go back. After finding freedom so hard, they do go back. That is how,
Wow.
that's the thing, like we should have more respect for the people who want to be free. Because then you gotta think for yourself. Then like you have to be responsible for the choice that you are making. Right? You gotta be, and I think here that's the thing, like all about the responsibility and they don't want to take. And just so they want to give it to the government and then like, oh, they just want to be voluntarily want to slave to the government.
Wow. It's well, you look at like the Soviet Union or well any authoritarian regime in history, and like I've always wondered like how does a society get to that point? And it's usually not overnight. It's not like suddenly a dictator has an army and just takes over. Especially with communism, like this ideology starts to spread, and then suddenly things get out of control. So this is what you used the word communist revolution earlier. Is that kind of what you see happening in the United States?
Oh yeah, totally. What do you think is happening in Portland right now? I mean, what do you think is happening in Chicago right now? It is totally common. I mean, they think destroying and stealing from Gucci and Chanel is a justice, right? This is what today's justice looks like in America. I'm like, this social justice warriors, right? Their war is stealing bags from Chanel. And I think in a way, even the fact about their obsession with the gender, right? Like X chromosome, Y chromosome, facts doesn't matter anymore. Like it's all about how you feel. Like as Shirley said, it's all about how you feel. If you feel like a unicorn, you are a unicorn. At this point, right? That's like the world that we are going into. And I think the fact that they believe that this country was built upon idea of racism and hatred and white supremacy, they want to tear down every single part of fabric of this country and the world, and they want to rebuild. But in order to rebuild their communist or social paradise, they gotta destroy first. So that's why they're going after every single thing right now. Like they're literally going after every single thing. Even the fact like the genetics, the X chromosome, Y chromosome, is so obvious, it's not obvious anymore.
That is what Marx says in the Communist Manifesto. You have to destroy all pre-existing social conditions.
Exactly. That's it. So that's where we are going to. And in a way, this is more intense than North Korean communism revolution is because it's social media is so powerful, right? You can so effectively brainwash people and like spread this ideology. In the past, when the communism was happening, they had to go to town and talk to people, gather them, right? But now you don't have to. You just have to use social media. So in a way, it can happen so quickly. It doesn't have to, like North Korea takes decades. It can happen literally in a few years' time. We are done. They just won the battle, right? So I think the acceleration of change, even the division. When I came to America, it wasn't this crazy. Literally, I don't think I heard anybody they don't want to set a foot into like the land like Florida or Texas because of the bigots, the Trump supporters. Never heard that. Now I hear that all the time from the people in SF or like LA, New York. They get shocked like, why do you go to Texas? I'm like, I'm not going to North Korea. Why is it shocking to you? But me going to Texas, almost like I'm going to North Korea to them at this point.
Wow.
When did you come to the US, Yumi?
Well, I was visiting a lot in 2015 and then moved in January 2016.
So that's only a couple of years.
Yeah, but that wasn't like that bad. It wasn't.
So what do you think, what lessons as a survivor of communism yourself do you think you have to offer to Americans?
So honestly, right, like sometimes when this nutties, right, we're so ungrateful, so bitter, and has zero appreciation for history, what our ancestors did, what humanity went through to bring us here. The fact that we are alive here, someone like had to fight for us in the jungle many generations ago, right? Fighting the starvation. I was like, maybe you guys deserve this punishment, like destruction, right? You gotta be starved like in North Korea, then you're gonna come to your senses, knowing how grateful you are, how grateful like this amazing this US Constitution is. But the thing is, I know that they are misled, right? There were professors, there were people misleading them. And they are also, in a way, are actual victims of this entire, whoever drives it, I don't know why they are doing this, but somebody is behind all of this. A lot of people funding, even George Soros, like he's spending billions of dollars to destroy everything. So I think only thing that we learned is that from China, especially what I learned is that economic freedom does not bring political freedom. Something so unique thing about freedom is that you must fight for it. It must be fought. So you have it. And I think that's it. Like in America, only thing that we have left to do is fighting for freedom in this country. It's so funny, like until even last year, I was talking about freedom in North Korea, right? Fighting for freedom in North Korea. Now I'm suddenly fighting for my freedom in America, my freedom of speech, not getting cancer. Like, it's like maybe I was thinking, do I bring a dictatorship? Is it my karma? Maybe wherever I go, I bring them with me. If I do, I'm so sorry. This is what I did to this country. Yeah.
Maybe you could move to Canada for us.
No, it's already a mess there.
It's already happening there. So.
Yeah. But yeah, that is so ironic. Like, you know, you come out of North Korea and like you have this message about what life was like in North Korea and how horrible it was. And now it's almost like you're telling Americans how to be American.
It's so I'm like, because of the fact it's such a humbling position, I don't think I understand true value of even freedom myself, right? It's so much beyond any human can understand what this does to how much empowers human beings. It's beyond anything. But these people don't see tiny bit of benefit of being free. That is unbelievable. They don't see. They see the side effects of being free so well, but they never see the pros of being free, even one thing about it.
Yeah, it's like that analogy about like the fish doesn't know what water is because it just is in it all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I often think that immigrants to America are often the best Americans, right? Because they've experienced something else and they've chosen to come here, and then they have a kind of framework from which to evaluate America and appreciate the things that America has that they didn't have before.
very fiercely patriotic. A lot of them become very fiercely patriotic Americans. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I think if you just grow up in it, you just don't even notice it, right? So you don't you don't appreciate it, like you said, because you and then if you're taught to just focus on kind of like the systemic injustices, and was the thing that Obama used to say that was kind of to the whole like to form a more perfect union. So, you know, America has always been imperfect, but we're always working on it and getting better. Like to be taught that that's not actually the case, that it's, you know, rotten to the core and always has been
and only getting worse
and will never get better. You know, that then that, you know, that makes you a hopeless person.